What's up, everybody? Damian Brown here with Remax Ocean Point. Look, got up this morning and thought, how can I have my clients or just anybody who's going into an open house get more value out of that experience rather than just sort of doing the looky-loo thing and only having your perspective on the place. So I formulated a list of questions. My intent with these is to hopefully allow you to garner more information that you wouldn't have otherwise got without a conversation, so you can effectively put together the very best offer, hopefully with the best price and the best terms. So let's jump right into it. Question number one, when was the last time the property traded? Why is that important? Well, for me, if you look at the average turnaround time per area, it's going to vary, of course. It might be 6, 7 years, etc. So if this home only traded, 1 or 2 years ago, that's something to look at in more detail. Each time you trade real estate, it's expensive. Like, it's just plain and simple. It's not cheap. So that's something to think about. Also, the second question would be, for what did it trade last? So why is that important? Similar to the first question, if it's expensive to sell and you're not making that much money, you got to wonder, what's the tipping point? What's the catalyst? Why are somebody willing to either lose money on this transaction, break even, or on the flip side, maybe they're garnering an extra $200,000 or $300,000 in capital appreciation, which is far more understandable as to a motivation to sell. But I think it's important to sort of have that context in mind. And of course, there's a third question. It might not be as impactful, but it's quite simple. What are the motivations of the sellers? Now, oftentimes you're not going to get the full story on things. You might get little tidbits here and there, but even those little tidbits can help add some context and potentially help you put sort of 2 and 2 together, if you will, on the situation. It's something I talk about a lot for question number 4, and that is to say, like, if you were to ask the realtor, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this area? Because you're not just buying the home, you're buying the community, you're buying the locale, and I think that's important to note. So whatever the realtor says, a 7, a 10, etc., why is that? And I think it's important to follow up with the why is that, is because this perspective that you're getting from a seasoned professional, someone who knows the area, even if you know the area as well, there might be a few things that they may say or what have you that help provide some more information, maybe why you should or shouldn't write an offer, or maybe there's just information that can help you going further forward. In that same light, this is relatively subjective, but I think it's also helpful. So what do you like most about the property? Again, it is subjective, but I think it's also nice if you might have missed something that is really great about the property. Now that you're in the home, you can see it, you're right there, and that'll help you get more certainty when you're going into writing the offer. And just as importantly, what do you not like, or what do you like least about the property? And it's hard to be candid about that, especially when you're selling a home, but most realtors, most people are open enough to be able to give at least some feedback in that respect. You could also have a tail-up question, which would be like, if you had unlimited budget, what kind of things would you change? But that's entirely up to you. I think another one that's also good is, especially if you're really seriously considering writing an offer, other than price, what terms or conditions are important? What other things are a motivation for your sellers? Because it's oftentimes where, yes, price is not everything, but it's a lot of things, obviously, because money is very important. But it's typically price and terms that always end up selling a home. So having that, with the context of question 1, 2, and 3, kind of putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, it'd give you, I feel, a far more clear perspective on exactly what will be a good offer to go in with, or what you should feel comfortable with when going in to that. And you might even ask one follow-up question, and that would be something like, what are the target market, or what are the typical buyers for a property such as this? And it seems kind of like an interesting question to ask, but I feel like maybe there's something that you've missed. We do a lot of market research before we go in to figure out who a target market person would be, to be able to purchase this home and write the copy accordingly. And maybe you're perfect fit in line with exactly what the normal buyer would be. Or maybe the realtor will say something completely the opposite, and it might make you want to rethink making an offer on the home. Either way, I think some of those questions will have, I mean, there's 100 other ones that you could ask, you know, when was the roof last done, the boilers, etc. And I mean, that's all important stuff, but you're going to go ahead and do a home inspection anyways, which I highly recommend you do. So that stuff will all be uncovered. I just find that these questions for me will have the most impact when, you know, making a decision whether not to write an offer. How much to write the offer for, the terms, etc. I feel like you're going to get the most value out of asking these questions, and you can deal with the other things as the deal progresses. So look, I would be happy to have a conversation about what home might be right for you, where you're buying, etc., and just see if there might be a way that I might be able to help get you on your next adventure the best home. So thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day.